Andy, I was considering the human body with reference to your saying in Pieces of Fire that it is not that man wills, but that will mans. This seems to give rise to a contradiction in that you can have a very crude level of consciousness taking the form of a human body, and this body is at the same time a very complex and subtle organism. Is there therefore some aspect of consciousness existing below the level of self-awareness that has intelligence, or can the lower evolution be completely explained in terms of the interaction of, well, simple blind forces?
Now, when I spoke of will, as it were, manning, I had in mind something similar to what I was talking about earlier. When I expressed the matter in terms of the stream of consciousness, finding various embodiments on different levels in different contexts. I was trying to stress in both cases that the stream of consciousness or stream of psychic substance was primary, and the particular embodiment was secondary. One should consider the embodiment as belonging to the stream of consciousness, let us say, or the will, and not the other way around. I mean, that was mainly the point I was concerned to make.
Yeah, but all the same, it does seem with the lower evolution, you do have these very complex, subtle bodies with just quite a crude level of consciousness inhabiting them. So I was wondering what the force is. It would seem to be an intelligent force that actually goes to create the bodies.
Well, I would not say that it was a mechanical force. But perhaps it would be more correct to speak of intelligence than of mechanism. But we also have perhaps to recognize that intelligence is not necessarily conscious. So that might seem to be a contradiction in terms. I mean, the organs of our body, function. We're not conscious of them. It's as though, at least, they have an intelligence of their own. Very often they are self-correcting, even self-healing. And it's not, a blind mechanical process. If a car goes wrong, it doesn't heal itself, as I think everybody realizes sooner or later. But if the human body, goes wrong, very often it can heal itself. It's as though an intelligence is there, or one might even say an intelligence is there, but it isn't conscious. This has been discussed somewhere. I can't remember at the moment where, but I read not so many months ago an account of intelligence which was not conscious. So perhaps we have to think along, some such lines.
Would you say it's related to the idea you gave in the higher evolution series of this absolute consciousness that you posited behind the process of evolution, kind of drawing things upwards?
That was a very metaphysical postulate, yes. With all the disadvantages, or not as the weaknesses of a metaphysical postulate. I think one could say that there is empirical evidence for in intelligence of the subconscious order as operating in, say, plants and animals. I think someone probably should read up the literature of the subject and present us with some short papers that can be put into general circulation. I think there are a lot of aspects of the whole process of the lower evolution that I can't myself, possibly hope to go into personally. And I think it needs a sort of cooperative effort with different people, investigating different aspects. And, trying to relate their discoveries to the general principle of evolution, lower and higher, and perhaps coming back to us and reading papers and presenting, the results of that investigation and so on. The whole subject is a very complex one, and one on which all sorts of fields of knowledge nowadays have got some bearing.